Yeah, hi everyone, Jason here, Robot Mowers Australia. Today I'm going to do a quick unboxing video of the Worx Landroid Vision. So this is the new robot from Worx Landroid that's wireless. It's not available in Australia yet, but hopefully will be later in 2023, hopefully. There's a few of them going around overseas and a few tests being done around the place, so we're going to do a bit more testing on it here and see what we think of it here. The robot itself, so it's vision based, so it doesn't use RTK, it's wireless obviously, so it doesn't have any boundary wire. It only uses the vision at the front of it to identify its own surroundings, which sort of has quite a few positives and probably a few negatives when we actually get to actual testing. But really the positives is that you can drop this mower in any lawn and turn it on. It doesn't need the base station. If you don't want it to have it, you just drop it in the lawn and turn it on, and it'll go and identify the boundaries and mow the lawn. It does have a system where it can cross paths, so it can go from one zone to another. I'm not sure how many zones you can actually have. I think it only comes with a couple of they've actually got RFID tags in the box here that get placed on each side of the path, and the robot senses that and crosses the path between the two RFID tags. So I'm not sure how many paths you can actually cross with it, or how many separate zones you can have, but we'll test that out as we go forward. It finds its base station by essentially following the boundary around the outside until it sees basically a 2D matrix on the back of the base station for it to actually go into the base station and dock itself, which seems to work quite reliably as long as you put your base station in the right place. So I think that's one of the big things, is that you're a little bit limited on where you can put the base station for these guys, because the robot needs to be able to find that base station just using camera. It's Wi-Fi enabled and Bluetooth enabled, much like Worx Landroid. You know, the app's going to be similar to Worx Landroid. So it should be a really reliable software side of things in regards to the actual the app control. Everything else should be very reliable. The rest of it will just come down to testing, and we'll let you know how that goes after we tested it. I haven't unboxed this at all. It's still actually taped up, so everything in here is just as big a surprise to me as it is to you guys. And we'll have a look, see what's in there. Okay, top of the box there is a measurement guide on the top there. I assume that's probably for the magnetic strip, so you can still get a magnetic strip for these, like an off-limit strip for these robots, and they can stop the robot from actually going into areas that you don't want it to go in. So I imagine that measuring stick on the top there, if you can see it, is actually it's a 32 and 40 centimeter measuring stick on the top there. Open it up. Mostly all packaged in cardboard like usual for Worx, which is really good. Everything can be recycled. Wow. Okay, we've got a whole bunch of paperwork. Let's see what we got in. So we've got a simple get started guide, which is really about installing the base station and the off-limit strip, is mostly what that's about. Then we have a get started guide, which again is very similar. It's the same as the other get started guide. It's just this one has more on connecting your robot to the app. So the connection process for these guys is going to be exactly the same as it is for existing Worx Landroids. You've got a warranty booklet, a charging procedure for the battery charging in about 13 different languages, and then we have two very large manuals here. So one is installation, and again it's all because it's got a lot of languages. There is a lot. You can see the whole list there of languages there. So there's about 15 languages in there, so the manual is really only about probably 10 pages long for the installation manual, and then the owner's manual is the same, but it's probably, I can tell you English here, so it's 24 pages or 23 pages of product manual for the owner's manual. So I believe the warranty on these guys is still going to be exactly the same as Worx, as always, which is a 2+1 written on the side of the box there. So you get 2 years warranty automatically, and then if you register the robot within the first 30 days, you'll get the extra year's warranty. There's another little pamphlet there to try and sell you some more tools for the Worx Landroid. So the Landroid obviously still, this Vision still takes the same batteries as what all the other Landroids do and what all the other tools do. So let's get in here. So the first thing that's in here is some off-limit strip. Now I think that's a 5 metre roll, so I think there's 10 metres in here at the moment. So I'm a bit unsure of why it's bright green. I mean, green's not a bad colour for it because it hides in the grass, but bright green was probably not the most ideal. Maybe a dark green would have been better. But that is about, it's around about 10 centimetres by 10 millimetres by 8 millimetres thick, and that can get pegged down around area flower beds and things like that you don't want the robot to mow over, big holes or steep slopes, or an edge that steps up or something like that. You can put this magnetic strip around so it can't, so it doesn't go over it. And there's 2 rolls of that come in the box there, and I think they're both 5 metres long, I believe. So they might be 6 or 7 metres long. I'm not sure. We'll leave that there. We'll go over this side over here. See what's in front. No, it's not going to come out there. Here we go. This little box here will come out. It's all packaged very well. This is the power supply. Now, this model is a 600 model. I don't know what models they're actually going to bring into Australia. I believe that might only be the 600 model for a while. I'm really not sure. But this is the WR206E, which is a 600 square metre model. So it comes with the small 1.5 amp hour charger. And again, these chargers are going to be exactly the same as the charger I have right now. This one's only a test for me, so it's got a European plug on it, but they will be the same as the existing Worx Landroids. Put that over there nice and precisely. Oh, there is something in there. Right. This over there. So this is side wings for the base station. So it just allows it to get up on a base station easier. We'll look into that in a second. Right, that to the side. I believe we're going to have to open that. Looks like you certainly need a pair of scissors or a knife handy to get into this guy, that's for sure. They've taped everything up very, very well. It's one thing we've always found with Worx Landroids is that the transportation damage has been very, very minimal on anything. They really have done, and really do quite well at packaging these guys up. Okay, so we've got some ground pegs, and that's for the magnetic strip, so we'll hold the magnetic strip down. We've got about, well, there must be 12 or 15, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 ground screws, and that's for putting the base station down as well as screwing down the RFDI tags for crossing over paths. And the standard sort of, I assume 12 spare, or 9 or 12 spare blades in there as well. And so you've got spare blades, and again the blades are going to be exactly the same as the Landroids. These are the RFDI tags that I was talking about. So these here, these little rings, you actually just screw them down to the ground on each side of the path, like such, on each side of the path. They can be up to 6 metres apart, so they can't go any further than 6 metres apparently. And the robot, what it does is it leaves the base station and it follows the boundary of the path, so it identifies the boundary by using its camera, follows the boundary of the path in an anti-clockwise motion, comes across the RFDI tag, identifies it, turns 90 degrees to the right, and then crosses over the path until it reaches the other RFDI tag on the other side, and then it turns and continues on, or starts mowing, depending on how you've got it programmed. So be very curious to see how that works, because obviously being a vision-based unit, there's really nothing on the market that actually does multi-zones at the moment in a vision-based system, because there really are very few vision-based systems out there. This robot essentially is going to really, basically, it's going to really compete with the Ecovacs G1 GOAT robot lawnmower. And the only difference between the two really is that well, they're obviously they're very, very different technologies, but the G1 from Ecovacs will mow in lines, and the Vision mows in a random pattern. Okay, here is our robot. Let's take that off there, just so it's nice and easy. There we go. So the robot, like, first impressions, it's like all the other Landroid models. It really is solid and strong. Everything about it's got some good strength about it. It's got a bit more weight than a standard Landroid, that's for sure. It has the high traction wheels on it that we don't get here in Australia. But with any luck, you might be able to see if they actually fit the other Landroids as well, so we might be able to get hold of those as a spare part, because they do look like a very good wheel. Now this robot sort of looks like it should be going that way, but it doesn't. This is the front over here, so it travels in this direction here. Camera base at the front there, so it can actually see out where it's looking. It sees about sort of 40 centimetres in front of it, thereabouts, and identifies what it comes across. Because it's a camera-based system, it needs light, so obviously it can only work during daylights. I believe there is a camera edition you can actually get for these guys, sorry, a light edition you can get for these guys, and there's a light that mounts onto the front that allows it to work in low light areas. I'm not sure how well that's going to work, and again, once we can, we'll test that and see how that goes. We don't have one of those modules here at the moment. Like I said earlier, they're Wi-Fi enabled and Bluetooth, exactly the same as the Worx Landroids we have already. They are fittable with you can fit the extra Find My Landroid modules in them, which is the 4G GPS module. However, we don't have those in Australia, not yet. Hopefully we'll get them at some point for both the other Landroids as well as this guy. Battery cover in the top there, which opens like this. Okay, so it's spring loaded the other way. So unlike the 149, which is up here where it spring loads open, this guy you press and have to lift it up, and it springs down, so it keeps pressure down all the time. Standard slot there for your battery and a USB port for doing upgrades, for firmware upgrades and downloading log files and things like that. Rain sensor exactly the same as the previous models, so that should work fine. We've had very little trouble with the previous models. The display screen is exactly the same as the WR149 model as well, so it really is a very simple display with a dial turn up and an acknowledgement button to push straight down on that. So I've always been very happy with those displays. In fact, I don't think we've actually had a single faulty display in a 149 yet, so, and they're certainly a few years old now. So they've always been very, very good. The front there is a charging port, so you've got two charging ports in the front there, which we'll have a look at the base station here in a second to see how that actually docks up. We'll have a look underneath the bottom here. The camera is actually on a little pivot there, and I assume that's more like almost like a bump sensor, I think. So essentially, if it hits anything on the front of that camera there, it's going to click up. And I assume there'll actually be a switch in there that actually I was not aware of that until I just picked it up. So it's not a bit of a pivot there. It's definitely not loose or anything. It's designed to be that way. But I think that might actually be essentially a fail-safe bump if it does fail to see something. So underneath, offset blade, 18cm disc on this guy, with a little disc guard on the side there. I think with the distance across to the side there, I'm not really quite sure why they've got disc guard on there, because it probably meets standard without it. But clearly it probably doesn't. I'm sure I don't know any more than what the designers know. Yeah, floating deck as well, same as the 149, so the deck floats up and down, and the height adjustment for that deck is set on the top there. We'll have a look at that in a second. Space in there for the voice control that we can't get in Australia. That will be a main board, is it in there? Looks like the size of it, so I'm not sure if that's that could be the Find My Landroid module area, it must be. So you can put the Find My Landroid, and possibly at some point, if not now, I'm not sure, the radio link, whether you can actually put the radio link option in there, I'm not sure, which again, the radio link was removed from the market a little while ago, and I'm sure it will come back on again at some point. Not much else to tell you under there. A really large dolly wheel on the back here, and it's super heavy duty. I mean, it really is a heavy-duty piece of kit, that back wheel. The shaft down the middle of it is probably still only 8mm coming into the robot. It is, and it's also got the drop sensor on that shaft, same as what previous models will have. But that wheel is significant, to say the least. To say the least, that wheel is absolutely significant. Alright, the magnetic strip, so obviously with the other Landroids you can buy the optional extra with the magnetic strip with the off limits, which sits in the front there. This one here, it's actually integral into the robot, so you don't have to fit it. There's a couple of wires around the place, so there's a wire on the side here that fits back into this module here. And I also saw another wire there at the front of the camera system. There's another wire coming in through the side here, coming out into the camera. So there's a couple of external wires, which is a little bit different for Landroid. They generally try and keep everything completely internal to the robot. The height adjustment, which we mentioned before, is just here on the side again. So again, exactly the same as previous models. You have to set it manually so that you can actually set it to a height and then leave it and forget about it forever. Alright, so that is the robot. So let's see if we can get this base station out of here. Oh, there we go, that got rid of the box. That's the head for the base station. I'll just get the other part out of the box now and then get rid of the box. Alrighty. So this is the base station plate on the bottom. And that head just goes in and clicks in and screws in. So there must be a couple of screws somewhere for that to go in there. Oh no, it does just click in, I think. There we go. So it just clicks in. There is provision for a couple of screws in the bottom there. So look, see if there might actually be a couple of screws provided for that or not. Doesn't look like it. Let's have a quick better look here. No, it does not look like there has been. I don't think it actually needs it, but being that there's holes for it, I just have a sneaky suspicion they would provide them, but no, that's okay. So no, that's just the blade screws, Allen key for putting down the actual spikes. Okay, so it just clicks on. Again, you've got about 8 to 10 meters, probably 10, like the other Landroids for that side there. And like I mentioned earlier, these little side guards here, they actually go on the side of the base here, so that the robot can actually get up onto the side of the base station as required. So how do they get in there? I think you just got to push those really hard to get those in there. So they go in there and push that down, and you'll end up with a much wider base station, so the robot can actually get up from any angle and mow over the top as required. So very different for Worx Landroid is that they actually have these actual charge ports now rather than having the sideways charging dock. These still go left and right to the side. The robot comes along. The robot just comes along and charges itself up nice and neat. If it comes from a bit of an angle, it still docks up okay. I missed. So it does. Yeah, it's got quite a bit of tolerance around it, so it's not really going to. I don't think it's going to fail to dock or anything like that because of the way the charge port is. And like I said earlier, there's the 2D matrix on the front of the charging station, which is what the camera sees, and that's how it lines itself up and docks itself. There's no wiring in the base whatsoever, so you don't have to worry about really anything when it comes to the wiring on the base whatsoever. So I think that's really good. So what can I tell you about it? Not much, I don't think, at the moment, because I don't know a lot until we get out there and start testing it. Anyone else notice that we're missing something like a battery? Okay, found it. 2 amp hour battery in the 600 model. That's actually exactly the same as our batteries here in Australia, so that's good. This is battery clicks in, away you go. Turn it on, link it to your app. Again, there's a up on the side there is your 2D matrix with the serial number on it, so you can scan your phone on that serial number. Link it back through your phone, link it to your Wi-Fi. Again, like all products like Robot Mower and any sort of vacuum cleaner or anything that's Wi-Fi connected, it needs to be connected to a 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi. It cannot be 5 gigahertz. So you need to have that 2.4 gigahertz, which 99.9% of people have. It's just that there are a lot of routers out there these days that are automatic selecting. So they select 2.4 or 5 gigahertz by themselves. You can have quite a few issues with those when you're trying to get the very first connection with any product, not just Robot Mowers. But if you have any issues with that, obviously just give us a call. I don't think I can tell you too much about it for now. We'll do some testing, get back to you and let you know how the testing goes. If you have any questions on this robot or any other robot that we sell or any other robot that's on the market, just send us an email at sales@robotlawnmowers.com.au. You can find out a lot more information on our website at www.robotlawnmowers.com.au, and you can find us on all the socials, just on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. Just search for Robot Lawnmowers Australia. Thanks for watching.